Midwestern Trapper, what's up, bud? Figured I'd pop in and go live for a little while. I was gonna go live with the computer, but my service was pretty shoddy. My phone gets better service than the computer does, but I can't do I can't show you the stuff I was gonna show tonight. I was gonna go over a couple articles that was on Trapper's Report and some legislation changes that were happening in Vermont. They've been talking about it for about 6 months, but they tried to vote on it today and it didn't go through, so I'm trying to see if I can see the chat stay up. I don't know if it'll stay up or not. It looks like it only pops up when somebody says something. There you go. Yeah, all is well. Things are going good here. We're getting ready to go to the OFBA Fall Rendezvous this Thursday. Well, it's Friday and Saturday, but we're setting up Thursday. So it's going to be a good time. I wonder if it won't let me rotate. I can't see the chat unless someone says something, which kind of sucks because I put it on, what do you call that, sideways. Hey, Mark. I'm doing good, bud. How you doing? Sorry, this thing's kind of squirrely. Yep, doing good, Mark. Staying busy. I've been off work for almost a week and a half now because of the baby. Hey, Robert, how you doing, brother? Glad to have you in. Yeah, I've been out of work for about a week and a half because of the baby, and you know, my wife had a pretty hard time right after the birth, but for the most part, she's doing good. And now I'm kind of, she's eager to get up and do stuff, whereas I was helping. What's up, Jazer? How you doing, bud? She's eager to, oh, I appreciate it, Midwest. She was eager the last day or two to get up and do stuff that she wasn't doing before, so she pretty much did everything all day today, like she normally would, and didn't really need me for much at all, which was, you know, good for me and good for her to get up and get around doing it. But I'm hoping, I'm still off for the next 6 days or whatever, 5 days until Sunday, which is good because I got a lot of scouting to do. I talked to a couple landowners today, and I got to meet with a couple of landowners tomorrow and check out some new property. I'm gonna have a lot of stuff to deal with. I haven't decided whether I'm gonna run. Yeah, Robert, glad you made it in, bud. I haven't been going live a whole lot. I go live. I try to go live from the computer, so it's open for anybody to view. Whenever you go live from the phone without 1,000 subscribers, only your subscribers can view it, maybe 25 other people, but I've never had more than 10 or 12 people in chat at a time, so that's not a big deal. And I think they're all subscribers. But I was going to go live from the phone and go over some of these changes in the Vermont law that they're trying to push through and get voted in, and some articles I saw in Trapper's Report, kind of talk to you guys and go over it. But my computer gets really shoddy service out here in the shop. I just called and set up an account, and I'm going to have a new account set up inside the shop, so I got my own internet, and then I can go live here in the shop without having any service interruptions or any problems, because it seems like as soon as I start up YouTube and I get OBS running and get everything running so I can run this computer and kind of show you guys some of the stuff, and then broadcast, it tries to drop out on me and I lose the signal I need to go live. So it makes a really bad video whenever you're streaming. It uploads just fine and it looks good whenever it uploads, but it streams really bad. So we're just going to go live from the phone, say what's up to a few people for about 30 minutes or an hour. And Midwestern says, same boat, I'm in. Buck I shot the other night, went into the neighborhood property and accidentally picked up another 1,000 acres to trap. Cattle farmer that appreciates and respect to his land. That's always a good way to do it, to make sure you respect people, make sure you ask questions, ask for permission. Don't just, don't just go on people's property. It's a good way to get people to respect you and to like what you do and to want you to do it for them too. Yeah, I hear that, Robert. But yeah, I picked up a bunch of land this year. Last year I had, I don't know, 4,000 or 5,000 acres, and I only got to trap out a third of it or half of it, depending on what time of the year it was. And then I just picked up Saturday. I picked up 650 acres, and he kind of passed me off on a few different people. And it looks like I might be able to pick up another 2,000 acres off one of the people he tried to pass me off onto. And I got in contact with the local vet, and he sent me a number to a guy that I've been trying to get a hold of for a couple of months now. And I've got his phone number now, and he owns or manages a bunch of property around here, between where I'm living at and kind of where most of the ranch land is right here that I'll be trapping, and between the areas that I've already got picked up south of me, about 8 miles south of me. So it looks like I'm going to be running a 14 miles one way, or 13 miles one way, 13 miles back, and kind of do it a loop. So it looks like it'll be about a 35-mile circle probably. And I was thinking I was going to run it in the truck, but some of these properties that open up are real nice, and they're going to be really good for cats. They're going to be really good for coyotes. So I might actually just run the buggy every day and just run most of these properties throughout the whole season. Midwestern Trapper says he must have been pondering hard on it. He called me 2 days later, and we talked on the phone for 30 minutes. Hopefully catch a load of fur for him this season. Yeah. I've noticed that a lot of folks right off the bat, if you're trying to get, like, we have a Facebook page for the local town right here. And the first time I tried to really contact people about trapping around here that I hadn't already talked to and spoke with that live close by, I put a post up on the Facebook page, told them I'm the local trapper and that I'm looking for some areas to trap in a certain area during this time of the year so I can pick up some dogs for free. And I had a huge response of people that were for it. And you'd be surprised. Sometimes people get intimidated going and asking for trapping permission or trying to get to know people. And if you've been in your area a long time and you know most of the people around there already, well, they already know you're a trapper and you don't have too much to ask. But we've only been in this part of the state since 2020. Before that, I was in West Oklahoma City, and I was trapping the Stitchcomb Wildlife Refuge and some of the ranches and farmland that was there to the west Oklahoma City, which was great trapping. I mean, it really was. Nobody was trapping that area except me. And you had a lot of animals get pinned up there at the Stitchcomb Wildlife Refuge before they get to the lake, and then there's highways there, so there's really nowhere else to go besides into town. So they all come back up that way, and I was trapping both sides of the river right there. So I got some really good action. I had a lot of fun. Getting in the river was a great time for my first year trapping, and for 3 years I trapped over there and did pretty good. But then we moved down here 2020-ish, and I didn't get to trap 2020 season or 2021 season, and I was working and traveling, and I didn't have time. And I moved back to Oklahoma City for a while to work for about 18 months, and then came back, and the whole time I didn't trap at all. And I decided I wouldn't do that anymore. I need to be trapping. So, a lot of the folks around here I don't know yet. I've gotten to know a good handful of folks, but not everybody. Yep, yep, yeah. When someone knows you and someone's seen you do some good, whether you did nuisance work for them or whether you just trapped for them once and they're connected to it somehow and they realize how good you did, as soon as they start talking, other people start asking questions, it usually gets out pretty quick, and then you got people wanting to trap all the time. And I'm hoping to probably have 12,000 acres, it looks like, this year, which of course there'll be cattle on part of it and there'll be hunters on part of it, so I might have 4,000 to 5,000 acres at a time opened up to me until I move to the wildlife refuge. And that's about the spot that I'm looking about trapping over there. And I'm going to go talk to them this week and find out for sure if they're going to let me in for the month of February. But if they are, it looks like that spot's about 9,000 acres, and there's two other spots that are within 2.5, 3 miles of it that border other property of theirs that's 2,000 to 3,000 acres apiece. In total, there's almost 30,000 acres on this refuge, whether it's state or federal land, west of me for the next 25 miles. And I can't trap all of it. You can't trap on the state land, the ODWC controlled land, but the federal land is one of the only two wildlife refuges in the state of Oklahoma that allows you to trap it. And apparently I'm the only guy around here that doesn't. So, there's other guys that trap, but they don't trap that. They're not trying to get in there. They're just trapping small time, short liners, doing 20, 30 traps maybe, putting traps in their grandpa's, pasture or whatever, but not guys trying to get, land all over the place. I'm trying to get 10, 15,000 acres that I can rotate on year after year in the area. And then this run this year is going to be south of my house, and next year I think I'm going to go directly east of my house. And then the year after that, I might go back south or I might go back north. And of course, I don't want to lose any property, so we'll touch up on whatever we can. But as of now, it looks like I'm probably sitting at about 5,500, 6,500 acres that I have opened up to me, and I'm expecting to open up another 2,000 tomorrow. And if I can get a hold of this other guy, there's about another 2,500 acres there that's in 5 different properties I'm trying to get. And it's all pretty close. So I was going to run the truck, and I might still do that. I'm still having a problem with a coolant leak on my truck, so I don't know that I'm going to run the truck the whole time. I might actually just run the buggy. If I can keep these properties within 10, 12 miles of the house, I think the buggy will do real good the whole way. It might be a little slower getting to and from, but it'll be easier to get in and out of. So I think I'll make up my time. Whatever time I think I'd lose in the buggy, I think I'll make it up. Yep. Most of the states around here, or most of the states in the country, are done with the rendezvous now. You've got Texas that just happened, and we have, I did a couple videos today, kind of updating folks on the Oklahoma Fur Bearers Alliance Fall Rendezvous, and I wanted to talk a little bit about that too. And kind of the main reason there is, I'm on. Midwest Trapper. I have a business page on Facebook. My wife has a Facebook, and I use her Facebook to make my business page. But if you look up Dominion Predator Control on Facebook, you should find my page, and I can communicate through it, or people can communicate with me the same way you would anybody else on Facebook. You can send me messages, you can comment and share my post. But most people, individuals, I can't share their post. I can like it, but I can't share it, and a lot of times I can't comment on it depending on how their settings are set up. And I can't send them a direct message, but they can send me a message and I can respond back to it. So I typically use Instagram. I like Instagram a whole lot better than Facebook, and Instagram is Dominion Predator Control. And the reason why I like Instagram better is because Instagram is kind of like an interface for all of the metaverse crap, and it's mainly pictures. You can share videos and pictures. And you can hashtag and do all the stuff and communicate with people. But Instagram has really good messaging services, and you can do video messaging with people. That's really easy to deal with. And everybody, you can communicate with anybody. But whatever you post on Instagram, you can set it up to directly post to your Facebook in the exact same manner. So instead of having to go to Facebook and then carrying your stuff over to Instagram, you can just do everything directly from Facebook or from Instagram and send it all to Facebook. I don't search Facebook a lot. I got mad at Facebook whenever they did, when they started censoring people and not letting you say what you wanted to say, what you thought was right. And then they came in and censored people all through COVID. And then, once they were done censoring people, they found out that a lot of stuff a lot of those people said was right. And that's another thing about YouTube is, basically, YouTube, you're not going to see me get political, but I got a lot of thoughts. But I'm not going to talk much about it on Facebook because this is about trapping. If I talk about politics, it's generally going to be politics connected to trapping. And I plan to do that more and talk more about trapping regulations. I was going to do some of that tonight. I'm going to save that for the next time I get to go live with the computer though. But I like Facebook, but I don't like it near as much as I do Twitter or Instagram. Twitter is a really cool, because you're in the same room with everybody. It's not like Facebook where you have to be friends with somebody or have to be connected to them, and then you have to be in a group with them to be able to communicate openly in a group forum with them. On Twitter, you're in the same room with the President of the United States. You're in the same room with, some of the top officials on the planet, in the same room with some of the, say most popular podcasters or news anchors and everybody on the planet, trappers, all in the same room. So I can create a post and tag those people in it, and it is going to their feed, and everybody that follows their feed is going to see it. That doesn't mean that you're going to get 200, 300 million impressions on it like you might if you had a bunch of followers, but you can still communicate directly to people that you can't communicate directly with on Facebook. In fact, if you're not directly linked with people on Facebook, you can hardly even talk to them. But Instagram's also really cool. I've kept my Instagram going for, I don't know, 5 years, 6 years. and it's been good. You know, I put a lot of my posts on Instagram and just share them to Facebook on my business page. So Facebook it's there, but I don't use it very much. I got 5 of you in here. I know I got. Oh, these are. You know what? I just switched. I'm an American Spirit guy, but I just had a baby. I'm getting ready to quit, and I usually quit. I usually smoke when my wife's pregnant for anywhere from 6 months to a year, and then I quit. Well, my wife had a baby in 2020, and we were broke, and COVID hit, and everybody was out of work for a little while, and I had a rough patch. I didn't have a good job, so I just smoked the whole time. I've been smoking ever since then, but I'm getting ready to quit again. So right now I'm smoking these Signals, and I don't know if you guys ever seen these, but they're not the best tasting cigarettes, but they're not organic, but there's no additives. It's only water and tobacco. It's not like Marlboros and Camels and all those cigarettes that are out there, Newports. They got a lot of additives in them, and they're hard on your throat. They also make you addicted to the additives and chemicals that are in it, and they cause cancer. Regular tobacco, smoking's not good for you no matter what. You put any smoke in your lungs, you're eventually going to get something. But I try to smoke American Spirits because they're organic and they don't have any additives in them. And now Camel bought American Spirits, so I switched to Signals. The plus are half the price. Yeah, right. I heard the Missouri, the prices for cigarettes in Missouri because of the taxes it's so little. I talked to a guy, and he he runs the cigarette store right by Walmart, and I went through there one day, and I've talked to him a lot. Robert, I need to quit. I've quit. Out of the last 12 years, I probably only smoked about 4.5 of them. But I smoked when I was a kid, so I quit for a long time. But then every time we have a kid, I start back up, and then I'm about to quit again, I think. But yeah, Midwest, I got a buddy that works at the gas station over by Walmart, and I go through the drive-thru once in a while, and he told me the same thing. He said, I'll drive up to Springfield, I can buy cigarettes in Springfield, bring them down here and sell them for twice the price. I couldn't believe it. And that's what he does, too. Hope I don't get into trouble. But yeah, Robert, smoking's bad. I smoke a lot now too. I gotta quit. I smoked last trapping season and it didn't bother me, but I don't plan on continuing to smoke. If anything, I'll quit and I'll wait until my wife gets pregnant again and I'll start smoking again. Anyway, the Oklahoma Fur Bears Alliance is coming this weekend, Friday and Saturday. I don't know. If any of you guys are close, most of you probably aren't. If you know anybody in town, if you know anybody in the state that's going to be coming out here, if you know any trappers that are coming, make sure to let them know, because I just got a message last night from one of the directors, and him and the president, yeah, see, me too, Robert. I was 11, and I smoked until I was 26, and then I started quitting, and I maybe off and on, over a few years. Then I got married when I was 30, and I didn't smoke when I met my wife. I didn't smoke when we got married. I didn't smoke when she got pregnant. But when she got about 6 months pregnant, I started hiding and smoking cigarettes in the garage, in the backyard, at work. And before you know it, I was full-blown smoking until the baby was born. And I did quit after that. And then my second baby, same thing. I smoked again when she was pregnant. And when the baby came, I quit. The third baby, I haven't quit since then. And now we just had baby 4. So I've been smoking in between baby 3 and 4 the whole time. But the OFBA Convention's coming. And, yeah, Midwest, it's hard. It is hard. It really is. And, that's why I smoked either American Spirits or these Signals or something that's just tobacco and water, because I'm a cold turkey quitter. I quit and I have a bad attitude. I'm bad attitude Baptist for 3 or 4 days. And then I get over it. Eat a bunch of candy and snack on donuts and gain some weight. And then I get over it. But I don't like to taper myself off. I just quit cold turkey, which is hard, but it's not as hard as tapering off for a month and a half, 2 months, because sometimes you start taper off and then you pick it right back up. But I got a message last night from the director of the OFBA, Oklahoma Fur Bears Alliance, and they're giving out a lifetime hunting and fishing license to any kids that attend 16 and under that win the drawing. So every kid that attends 16 and under is going to be able to put in for the drawing, and they're going to draw it on Saturday afternoon before we all leave. and whatever kid wins it gets it, and it's a lifetime hunting and fishing license in Oklahoma. And we got, a lot of states don't have access to a lifetime license, or if they do, it's only for people that are a certain age. Here, your lifetime, when I bought mine in 2013, a lifetime hunting and fishing license cost $735. When my grandpa bought his in the 80s, I think it was 82 or something, his lifetime fishing and hunt license was $300. And back then, $300 was a lot of damn money. And he paid for it. 320 bucks, I think it was. And then it crept up to 735 by 2013 is when I bought mine. And it paid for itself the first 2-3 years. With all the tags you buy and the license fees and all the extra stuff you buy to make sure that you're covered just in case you kill something. My lifetime license covers everything except bear tags and hip permit. And hip permit's free. You just got to apply for it. You just got to, select it, check it out. But a lot of states don't have a lifetime hunting license. And my state's got a really good one that covers all of your stuff except your bear tag. And a kid to get that whenever they're under 16 or when they're born or when they're young is a really good deal, because if you're going to get them into hunting and fishing, they're going to spend $500 the first 2 years, probably 3 years, just getting in. And I really like the fact they did that. So some lucky winner is going to win at the OFBA this Friday and Saturday a license. And I made a video about it. And then I made a video about the updated times of the guys we're going to have out there. And I'll go ahead and read that off over here so everybody knows. But we have the new president of the OFBA. His name is Noah Smith. He's a good guy. He sells fur. He buys fur. And he's doing 2 demos at the event. He's doing a bobcat put up. So he's going to skin, flesh, and board a bobcat. And then that's going to be 10 a.m. on Friday morning. And then we're going to have Mike Yancey up. And Mike Yancey is Pine Hollow lures and Pine Hollow bows. He makes bows. And my uncle's actually, met with him a lot, and they've done a lot of bow stuff, in this part of the state in the past, and he's met him a handful of times. And Mike's a good guy. Mike does a lot of trapping down with Jennings down in Texas, and they always have some really great snaring on dogs, some really great bobcats they catch down there in Texas. They do that for, a few weeks out of the year every year and post it on Instagram. And there's some really great pictures they do down there. Mike's a good guy. He's going to have a good demo. My buddy Lynn Dunham out of Independence, Kansas, he's going to be down here, and he's going to be doing a demo. I don't know if he's just doing predators or if he's going to do cats or if he's going to do coyotes, but the last demo I saw Lynn's was a cat demo, and it was really good. I've been using stuff Lynn taught me ever since I first talked to the guy. John Heights is going to be there for one of the Friday demos. Jim Beaver's going to be there, and then Galen Opal's going to be there. Galen Opal, he owns Bitter Creek Fur Company, which is out towards Watonga here in Oklahoma. And Galen's a busy guy. I mean, I talked to Galen tonight twice. One time on purpose, and one time he called me on accident because he was on the phone with John Graham, and I was talking to him on the phone. John Graham called him on the other line, so I got off with him so he could take the call. And then while he was on the phone with John Graham, he got 5 missed calls from guys this time of the year because he's so busy. He buys so much fur and sells so much fur that he's got calls all the time. So he called me back on accident about 20 minutes before I started this live and thought I was one of the guys that called him. All right, Midwest Trapper, thanks for stopping in, bud. I appreciate it. Robert says, that's wonderful. It needs to be a standard for all conventions. Yeah, no doubt. I agree. Everybody should. It's a good way to drive people to the convention, Robert, to get folks interested, especially people that are local or that are in the state that, maybe hunt a little bit and dabble in fishing a little bit and maybe don't even think about trapping. That's a good way to get people involved. I don't necessarily want so many people trapping that they're taking all my trapping spots, but I sure would like trapping as, a heritage, as a tradition to continue in the sense that it's stuff that people are taught. Most people that I've met are taught trapping by somebody, ahead of them. Their grandpa, their dad, their uncle, their brother, something like that, taught them how to trap. They were interested in it. They got involved in it. I'm not one of those. My grandpa's a hunter and a fisherman. My uncles are both hunters, but none of them were trappers. And I got into trapping out of necessity because we had some beaver plugging up some creeks. And really it was a creek. It wasn't even a creek. It wasn't big, deep, wide. It wasn't, very far. It was just really just runoff is what it was. And they were damming them up, and we had 6-8 foot of water in some of these because they were deep, but they they were dry all the time. They were just trickling water most years. And it would keep deer in there, keep deer coming through. But we had them dammed up, and they had the whole place dammed up while we weren't down there. In 2012, 2013, I started reading about trapping. I didn't set my first traps till 2016, 17. And I had to read about it, learn about it, bought books on it, watch videos on it, watch YouTube on it. Got on trapperman.com and got to know a lot of these trappers that I know now by asking them questions and then being cool enough to answer them. A lot of the guys that are out there there's still a contingency of folks that are in trapping that don't want to share their information with anybody. It's just like you're driving past the guys out in the water and they got a boatload full of fish, and they ask you ask them if they did any good, and they lie to you and tell you no, because they don't want you to go find their fish. And they're still like that in trappers. But a lot of the trappers that go to these conventions that are sharing information with people are trying to get more people to learn. And I think information should be free. You won't see me charge for videos. I'm hoping that my YouTube will pick up eventually where I can start making money on it a little bit. But I'm never going to sell my videos or sell the information that I have to other people for money. I'm not a fan of that. Though I have bought information that people put together and sold. I'm not against other people doing that if that's what they want to do. But me personally, I don't plan on doing it. I'm kind of a pirate, so it is what it is. Turned away at the gate because you didn't have an adult with you. Was this at a trapping convention when you were a kiddo? You've grown up, I guess, so now they let you in, huh? That's funny. We got the Saturday demos. Noah Smith, the president of the organization, is doing another demo, but it's going to be beaver. So he's going to skin beaver, put up the beaver, board the beaver. Mark Connor's going to be there. Mitchell Simpson's going to be there. And I've heard a lot of good stuff about Mitchell Simpson. I've never met the guy. And I haven't got to see one of his demos in person yet, so I plan to record that one and try and get an interview with him if he's willing, and do that. I might do the same thing with James Ward. And we had, sad thing, prayers go out to the Derricks tonight. Wayne was just down in Texas at the Texas Fur Harvesters Predator Callers Convention or whatever it's called, and they had a really great convention from what I hear. 53 in December, praise the Lord. They had a really good convention from what I hear. Always have a lot of good demos down there. Texas always has a big show out, big turnout. A lot of folks that come out. A lot of people that come from all over the country to be down there. And Wayne was there, and he on his way home, I just heard that he had an issue. He had a stent earlier. I don't know, a couple weeks ago they had a stent put in him. And I guess he's not totally healed up yet. And he on his way back from the convention, he had stopped the hospital, so he was going to be here to do the last demo for us this year. And Wayne's one of my favorite guys on the planet. I met Wayne the first year I went to a trapping demo, and he was there, and he led us in prayer for breakfast that morning, and I was happy about that, because I went to another trapping convention. We used to have two conventions in Oklahoma, two organizations, I should say. So they would have two conventions. The first one was I forget what they're called, Oklahoma Fur Traders or something, and it was run by a guy that's out of Bristow, and he had an organization set up, and he'd come here, and they were kind of like the rough and tough crowd, kind of the guys that are more like me. And I went to that crowd, and I went to that event, and that was a good event. I watched them skin a beaver, and then the next event I went to was just a week and a half, 2 weeks later, and Wayne Derrick was there. And I really, really latched on to everything he had to say, watched his demo, got real involved with what he had to say, and I started following Wayne a lot. And a lot of the things that I have learned whenever it came to coyote trapping, I learned from either Wayne Derrick or Andy Weiser. And I like Andy Weiser a lot too. He's a good dude, man. What a great guy. And they got some skills, those two guys. And Wayne, Wayne's a person that Andy looks up to. And Wayne's a great guy. And just prayers for Wayne and Miss Dana Derrick tonight, because, I guess they went to the hospital yesterday. I suppose it was yesterday or today, whenever they decided to go back. And I haven't heard any news from it. I haven't called Wayne in a while. Last time I talked to Wayne was a year ago, probably. I texted him a little bit, sent him an email back and forth maybe once, but I haven't really talked to him very much. So hopefully he's doing all right. He's not going to make it to our event, but we're going to have another guy that comes in. I forget the guy's name, but there's a guy coming in from Kansas who makes his own lures, and he was already coming down. he was going to set up a booth, and he's going to do that demo now. So we're going to have somebody replace Wayne for a little while. Nobody can really replace Wayne, but somebody to sit instead. And we're going to have a good time. So if you guys know anybody in Oklahoma, anybody who's interested in getting a lifetime hunting and fishing license, or anybody who's interested in trapping, Oklahoma Fur Bearers Alliance is going to be the place to be. October 13th to 14th, that's Friday and Saturday. October 13th, that's or Friday the 13th. It's hopefully it's a good day. I think it's going to be a good day. I know we're going to see a bobcat get skinned that day, so that's going to be good. But we're going to have a good time. Fish fry on Friday, full events all day Friday and most of the day Saturday. Usually the dealers start picking up around noon. I think our last demo's at 1. And hey Ruger, what's up, bud? So our last demo's at 1, and that's going to be good. So we'll probably all be out of there by 3 or 4. They'll still be cleaning up and doing stuff that afternoon. And I'm going to go up there Thursday and help them set up. I probably won't be around to help them clean up too much Saturday evening because I got to get up and go to work the next day. But it's going to be a good time. I'm excited. I'm going to take all the video cameras with me, and I'm going to record some of the demos. I'm going to get some interviews. I'm going to just kind of record a lot of what's going on there. A buddy of mine, Adrian Romero. I really like Adrian Romero. I've been talking to him every time I get the chance. When it comes to him coming down here, he comes down to sometimes our spring and our fall events, and he's a good dude. He makes really cool clothing. He's got great artwork, and every time I talk with him, we have a good time. So he's coming down here, and I haven't seen Rusty in a while. I got Rusty Johnson's Predator lure hat on. I haven't seen Rusty. Used to come to all of our events, but he was back in Georgia at that time, and then I think he's up in Montana now, or Idaho or something. He's gone up northwest. Thanks, Ruger. Well, what do you think so far, bud? You having a good time with some of those shows? I like putting out videos, making good videos. So I'm gonna continue to make a TV show or a YouTube TV show every season. I'm gonna do vlogs all year. I'll do different types of videos throughout the year. I just started a new series, and it's set construction series. I call it SecCon. And the SecCons, I recorded me making probably 20 to 40 sets last year that I just couldn't put in the show. I put some of the remakes in the show, but I sped them up and I kind of narrated over the top of them because they were way too long for them. They were 5, 7, 8, 10, 12 minutes of me explaining what I'm doing while I'm doing it, which would be kind of like a demo, I guess. And I recorded a ton of those that I couldn't put in the show, and if I did, I sped them up. So now all the ones I put in the show, and a lot of the remakes anyway, and a lot of the original set constructions, I'm going to start putting those out one at a time. So I've got one coming out tomorrow. I just had one come out a couple days ago. Episode 14 dropped tonight. I don't know if you guys got to see it. It didn't get as much traction as it normally does. I think I put it out a little too early. I usually put them out at 6 or 7, and I put it out at 5, and it just didn't pick up. People didn't really see it. But episode 14 came out tonight, and I talk a little bit about the snares I use, show some of the snare dogs I caught last year, and nuisance snares, and a handful of other catches, including my best bobcat of the year. And I call it my best bobcat because it was the biggest, best looking bobcat I caught. Good Tom, good time of the year. He was excellent. Mean sucker too. But really the best bobcat's the one is the last cat I catch, because it's when I tag out. So that happens in the next episode. The next episode, episode 15, is the last episode of the season this year. I think this coming year I'm going to have enough, based off of how much I had to dump and how much footage I actually got in the time that I trapped last year, and with the amount of animals I caught last year. If I get my numbers this year that I'm trying to clear 150 coyotes, trying to make sure I catch at least my 20 cats, but probably push for 40. And of course I can only keep 20, so I'm going to have to let a lot go. I'm in Oklahoma, Ruger. I think I'll probably have enough footage to do 20 to 25 episodes for next season. And I'll continue to put videos out in between. I'm going to keep the channel up and going. I'm not going to let it die again like I have in the past. I'm gonna keep pushing it. We're going to go for monetization, and we're going to try and actually build it and get 20, 30,000 subs. Great. If I could just get 2,000 to 5,000 subs starting out, I think I could pull it up. Hey, ain't they Rubio Outdoors? What's up, bud? So once I get up there, these lives will help a little bit. They help with watch time hours. I've already got enough watch time hours to get monetized, I think, but I don't have enough subs. I've only got around 530 subs or something. So subs are hard to get, and I've noticed. I looked at my analytics on my videos, and damn, it's wild. 80% of the people that watch my videos aren't subbed to my channel. It's pretty wild. I didn't realize that. So I just started digging in the analytics the other day. So trying to find a way to get people to actually subscribe while they're watching the video, while they click on it within the first minute. A lot of them quit. I think 60% of people usually quit watching after 30 seconds. So that's why they say YouTube intros have to be real short. And most of my videos, they are. It's just a logo sting. It lasts 6 seconds and it goes away or whatever. But on my long form, TV shows, I'm going to always have a longer intro. I'm going to always have a decent outro. I'm going to always have decent music. I'm always going to try and bring in as much content as I can and have as many catches as I can in those shows, rather than just like a lot of the hunting shows that are out today. And, God bless them. There's a lot of great shows out there, but they spend 22 minutes, building up one shot, and then they get to that one shot and it happens. And some of the other hunting shows that are really successful now, you'll see them, and they don't do just one kill per episode. They'll do a short 6 or 8 minute segment where one guy goes through the whole process and gets his kill, and then they move on to the next one. I think that's really good for keeping people entertained, especially on YouTube. So on YouTube, I want to have anywhere from 7 to 10 catches per episode whenever I do that. And my vlogs will be short. They'll be shorter than they were last year. Last year I made vlogs anywhere from 6 to 15 minutes. And I think this year I'm going to make vlogs that are about 2 to 5 minutes. And I'm going to do them daily or every other day. And I'm not going to go through the details on what I was using and go to the details on the set and locations. I'm just going to show images and video of what I caught and basically my reaction to it. I think I'm going to start doing a thing where I'm going to try and pet every coyote I catch. And I'm going to record it. And I'm going to make them shorts on YouTube. And I'm going to try and pet every coyote I catch and see how it works out. Sometimes it might get bit, sometimes it might not. We'll see what happens. I don't plan on getting bit on purpose, but it'll be fun. Yep. Burger. Yeah, I'll bet there is a lot of bullshitters out there. You ain't lying. Robert says, don't use any snares here in Ohio. Cats are not allowed to keep. Release them all. Don't want to injure any. Yeah, that's unfortunate. After cat trapping, Robert, after learning to cat trap here and, setting a trap for a cat in a spot, a blind set. I've set blind sets for cats where you're in the sandy, soil next to the river, and you see their cat track, put a blind set right where that track is, and then you catch that cat a week and a half later. That is the biggest rush, man. I'm actually upset. I'm not upset, but I've been talking with our ODWC wildlife biologist, Jared Davis. Every time I see him, I give him a hard time about trying to figure out up the numbers, because every state border in Oklahoma has no limit on cats, but Oklahoma has a limit on cats. I caught almost 30 cats last year, and I had to release 9 of them. I'm not a fan of releasing cats. You've seen, I don't know if you guys seen it or not. My episode 2 of my show is the cat catch and release episode, because it was all recorded before December 15th. And I try not to keep cats until Christmas, but you're not even allowed to keep cats until December 1st here. And the fur's not too good till about Christmas time, so I usually wait. Well, I get attacked by a bobcat. And I don't know if you can see it in that video or not, but there's a scar right there. And I had a bobcat slice me open right there, get me on the top of the head, and get me on the face. And I was an idiot, but the video's pretty cool. Y'all check it out. Let's see what this says here. Yeah, it sucks you can't use snares there. Well, we can't use snares as a regular trapper here, Robert. I have to have a nuisance license to use snares, and I can only do it on nuisance jobs. And it just so happens at the ranch that's about 3,600 acres right here by the house, I do nuisance work for them. So whenever I get the chance during the end of the season, when I'm getting close to the end, I've caught all the easy coyotes, I'll put up snares just to knock down a few of the other ones. Okay, so Anthony, you can do live feed from your computer, and they just updated the YouTube app on your phone. You can do live from your phone now, but you can only have your subscribers, however many that is, and up to 25 extra people that watch it until you hit 1,000 subs, and then it opens all the way up. So I just found this out last week. I did a test live last week from the porch. When I found out about it, see if it worked, and it does. So I can do live now from the. What I wanted was just 1,000 subs to get to the beginning of this season, so I can start going live from the phone. Well, now you can go live from the phone, but they limit how many people are allowed to see it. Yeah, you can see. I've got 500. So when it comes to YouTube, you have to have 500 subs and 3,000 watch time hours to do supers and memberships, stuff like that. And then once you get 1,000 subs and 4,000 watch hours, then you can open up the full monetization. So just last week I opened up the monetization for supers and memberships. And I don't think I'm going to have any membership content. Like I said, I don't plan on charging for information. If I did membership content, it would just be, I can't even imagine. If I did membership content, it would just be, asking, begging for money for me. And I don't mind begging for a little bit of money on YouTube because I could use it. But I don't really have any extra ideas, and I haven't come up with any way to do content in a way where it would be special for membership and not for everybody else. At this point, all my content's open and free. I'm trying to charge it to people who pay YouTube for advertisement for money, not you guys. If I sell anything to you guys, hopefully it's going to be like products or lures, things like that. In the future, I'm moving to making. I'm a welder, so I got some good welding equipment, and I'm going to move into making my own tools, trapline tools and stuff, and making lures, because I've dabbled in making lures the last 5 years. Ruger says we can't snare, but we can cable restraint with unlimited bobcats. And here they just say snare, but they don't have there's no language specifying what kind of snare I can use except for the 10-inch deer stop and no entanglement. Those are the only restrictions for a nuisance guy in the state of Oklahoma, is that you have to have the 10-inch deer stop on it, and it has to be free of entanglement. So I guess cable restraints are just relaxing locks. I think that's what that is. I'm pretty sure. I hear people interchange those two terms together, snare, cable restraint. I'm pretty sure it's just relaxing lock, which still, that's a great way to do it. But basically, the way the Oklahoma laws are set up, you pretty much are using cable restraints anyway, because you can't have any entanglement. Although you can use, hey Livermore, what's up, bud? Thanks for coming in. You can't use you can't use entanglement to knock them out. Some of the guys up north, I said this before on live, I think, but some of the guys up north in the Strapperman chat told me about a thing called a kill pole, and they would take 5 or 6 foot of rebar, and they would put a T-cross and about halfway in the middle of it, and then they would weld some number 9 wire to it to hold your snare, and you drive the pole into the ground, and then you use that pole to anchor off the bottom of your snare, and then you have the wire that's hanging off the top of it to hold your snare in place. And you can just put those wherever you want them and go out there and snare dogs in an open pasture. And, from what I hear, it works real good. But what happens is the dog gets caught on it, and if he doesn't hit the end of that extension and choke out right then, they'll get wrapped around that pole, and when you get there, they're DOA. But here you can't do any entanglement. So I made up about 10 of those, and now I just use them for putting beaver traps into deep runs. I don't get to use them out in the field. Yeah, Robert, I'd hate to release a big male. I've released a handful of cats. I released 9 last year, and every year I've released some cats. And I'll tell you the story. I've said it before on my show, but the very first year I trapped, the first trap I checked was the first night it was there. The first night catch was a bobcat. It was a big male tom. He was rabbit back, but he was a big male tom. I got a picture of him somewhere, and I had to let him go. And it was November 27th. And we're not allowed to keep cats till December 1st. And at that time when I first trapped, I didn't realize you need to wait till late December, mid-December before you even think about keeping cats down here. Because people up north are already keeping cats at that time because their fur's better. But a lot of you folks up north don't have the chance to take cats in a lot of states, which sucks. The western guys do, but most of the guys in the central and eastern don't. 1 cat in Pennsylvania. At least it's better than none. Robert's stuck with none. Where are you at, Robert? Yeah, no entanglement, Ruger. That's right. So you guys are using cable restraints with no entanglement, which is actually a great way to pick up dogs fast. I mean, I would do that. If you use cable restraints, just use 1x19 cable when you do it, and just use your relaxing locks, and that dog won't chew out, and you'll get there and you'll have that dog. I mean, you can trap the hell out of some coyotes with some cable restraints. Oh yeah, Anthony, you got to get your watch time hours up. That's what it is. So my long form content, my 30-40 minute episodes, really boosted my watch time hours in the last 3 months. When I started putting out that season, the end of August, when I started putting out that season, I had like 800 watch time hours, and now I've got almost 3,500 watch time hours. And it's from putting out that season, and some people saw it. My first episode got over 2,000 views, so that's not great when it comes to money-wise, but that's really great for my channel because I've had very few things that went over 1,000 views already. Yep, can't use them until after Christmas. Cable restraints. Yep. I'd do cable restraints I wish regular trappers had the right to use cable restraints here. That'd be excellent, because I'd be running cable restraints 30% of the places whenever in early season. Like, I'm starting November 1. I'm actually going to put in traps on October 31st, but just for coyotes and, maybe a beaver or two. But my season doesn't really open here December 1st, but I can, about mid-November, coyotes pick up around here fur-wise. And then last year, it was 15th of December, they were gone. Their shoulders were rubbed out. I caught maybe 2 coyotes after the 12th of December that were worth a crap. Everything else was garbage. But, got to take them out anyway. Make everybody happy. We killed 72 coyotes last year. I'm pushing for 100. I'm going to double it this year. I'm pushing for 150. And I'm definitely doubling my property, so I should be able to do it. Robert says he's in Ohio. Yeah. I think I heard you say that earlier, too. Yep. Yeah. Yeah, Ohio's beautiful, beautiful farmland there. What's your coyote population like up there, Robert? Dusty, what's up, bud? Come on in. Yeah, you can't use the 220 on land here at all unless you're a nuisance guy. So the way it works here, Ruger, it's kind of weird. I got a nuisance license when I first started because I wanted to have the capability to use other traps, but I wanted to trap throughout the year too. And I started learning more about nuisance work as I did it. And I don't do as much nuisance work as a lot of the guys that do, squirrels and moles and all that crap do. But they don't have time to fur trap. They're too busy. And I'd love to have more work, nuisance work, but I don't want to be locked up in contracts with, gated communities in town to do mole work all the time. I'd rather have the freedom to trap all season long, and I'm going to. This year I'm going to for sure. I'm going to get 120 days in this year, long line the whole way. And, I'm not going 100 miles, but I'll probably make it'll be a 35-mile loop by the time I'm done. Maybe 40 every day, which would be great for the buggy. It needs that kind of workout. Tim Brady, what's up, bud? Come on in. But yeah, the 220s on land, man, that is a great deal. You would slay the coons here. We have billions of coons here. I guarantee it. They just opened them up a year and a half ago, unprotected, all year long. Hunt them, do whatever you want to, run dogs with them, night hunt them, whatever you want to do, kill the coons. And I'm happy about that. But I normally just ditch coons unless it's a beautiful silver tip coon or something really great. We don't have good coons here very long. They come in late in November, they pick up, and they're usually gone by Christmas. They're already yellow-bellied, and they're no good after that. And they really don't move a whole lot in the deep winter anyway until you have a warm night around here. But if you could do real good on coons, like Iowa Trapper is going to do, 1,000 coons in a week? That's his goal. I mean, he's going to be dead tired after that. But if he gets through it, and if he hits that mark, he's going to be happy as hell. And that's a hell of a feat, because I can't imagine catching 1,000 coons in a season. And that we have the population to do it here. We don't have all the same, large farmland here. But the laws he's got there are different. They can trap right-of-ways. Here you can't road trap. There's no road trapping in Oklahoma. Everything pretty much has to be on private land, or it has to be on, it can be on public land, but only certain public lands allow it. Each one has their own rules. And like some public land will allow it, and it's only this only trapping rabbits or only trapping this, and some public land allows it and it's only trapping beaver. But now they just opened it up where Oklahomans, regular trappers, can use conibears, but they can only use them fully submerged in water. Whereas me as a nuisance guy, the language is such a way where I can use conibears, but only a 330 has to be fully submerged in water. So I like to buy 280s because I like to trap crossovers. When I'm doing nuisance work and I've got 3 or 4 dams on a creek somewhere, I put crossover traps in, sets in, and I catch the turtles and the beaver and the nuisance otter all at the same time. But I can do that because of the language in the nuisance regs here in Oklahoma, Title 800. But a regular trapper can only use a fully submerged conibear, so they can't use them anywhere else. Ruger says he's limited to a 155 on land. Robert says they allow us to hunt and trap yotes year round here. Population is starting to decline. See, the only decline we had in population last year was the 72 I killed right here by the house, and we're not seeing as many, but we're hearing them in multiple groups every night. Our population is so strong here; it's unreal. They're totally opened up, and they just pulled back restrictions. So a lot of states are restricting. Like Vermont, I was going to talk about the Vermont laws tonight because they're changing Vermont laws when it comes to coyote trapping. It comes to hunting coyotes with dogs, for the worse, not for the better. And the most states are getting some kind of liberally. I don't want to say liberal because liberal's a good thing. To be liberal with things. Jesus was a liberal in the Bible. Leftist is the word I'm looking for. A lot of folks that have the leftist mentality that are getting involved in government because they're very active, they're activists. They're getting a lot of stuff done just because they're there doing the work. And that's why good trapping organizations are good to support, because they're out there trying to do the work to try and keep things from getting bad. What happened in New Mexico, they tried to push through in the past and it didn't happen, and then they finally got it through. And most of New Mexico, a lot of New Mexico's BLM or public land, which is why it's such a big hit on those folks, because there's so much land now that they can't trap on that they used to be able to trap on. Oklahoma, it's like 90% private, not public. So you pretty much want to trap on private land and stay out of the public land for the most part. I do know some places you can public trap, but it's not very many. And you've got to go in there, and you can't camp in there for very long. And I'm the kind of guy that wants to be close to my traps and know I can just run out and grab them if I need to. I don't want to have traps 25 miles away from me and then something go wrong and have to get up and go deal with the landowner's neighbor's dog at 2 a.m. in the morning because I got a trap 30 miles away. I'd rather just stick to my population close by and work different sections of my county and the area around my county close by, at a time. So this year I'm going south of me. Next year I'll probably go north and east a little bit, and then I'll go back south again. Yeah, Ruger, we're not super dry because we had 4 good days of rain in the last month, maybe the last 3 weeks. We had 4 awesome days of rain, all day rain, most of the day rain, good storms. So our ponds are looking really good now. We got a little bitty pond on the property here that's not for anything except drying up every season. And it was totally dry 3 weeks ago, and now it's half full. So that tells you how small it is, but now it's half full. I put in, at the beginning of September, I put our deer plot down, our food plot down for deer. And it was supposed to rain. I don't know, like the 5th or 8th of September, it was supposed to rain, and it didn't do it. And everything was dry. It was just dust. Whenever you walk in it, it was just dust. We tilled it up, and you would step in it and fall about 4 inches. It was so thick with just real thick dust, but it was just dust. So I went over it with the seeds and spread them all out, and they're just poof, just disappearing in the dust. Well, the first rain we had wasn't good enough, and we had just a real quick 30 minutes of rain, and it brought all that dust down and exposed all the seeds and didn't do any good. And then we didn't get rain again for 2 weeks. But then we got rain 3 days, 2 days in a row, and then another day about a few days later, and another day about a week later, which really started picking up the plot. So now my plot's picking up. But we're not totally bone dry. I like bone dry for trapping season, but it's not good if you're water trapping. I mean, if you've got muskrat and you're bone dry, you're going to lose them. If you've got a lot of beaver in areas that are bone dry and you start losing ponds, they're going to move out. Around here, we like to knock down the beaver as much as we can because beaver cause so many problems. About every pond, every lake in Oklahoma is man-made, is what I heard. Not a single natural lake in the state. So we've got the same thing as with a lot of the ponds. A lot of the ponds are all man-made farm ponds over the last 100 years, 80 years. People dug them out themselves. And in the last 30 years, people that have money have really exploded and built a lot of little ponds everywhere. So you get beaver in those ponds and they rip those dams. And that's what I'm here for, to make sure that doesn't happen. Wow, killing them at 50 to hundreds in a night hunting them. That's wild. See, we have night hunting here. They opened that up for us, Robert. And it's, night hunting's a good time. I've always gotten a depredation permit to do night hunting when I wanted to. And they usually give me a depredation permit for a year. And if I'm out in the country, they let me hunt. So you just got to call them 24 hours ahead of time. But now they just changed the laws. Since they opened up the laws on coyotes, they're opening up night hunting, and they're opening up night hunting for vehicles. So basically kind of Wild Wild West status when it comes to coyotes and hog hunting like they have in Texas. If you look online, you always see these badass videos of these guys, they're running around in their buggy or they're running around in their four-wheel drive, and they got a guy on the back with like a shotgun with a laser, and it's all night vision stuff. Most of that stuff happens in Texas. Texas has some really badass laws. They got a lot of hogs, and they got a lot of coyotes, and those guys, they're able to do some crazy stuff from a vehicle. You've got that show called Night Crew, and I'm sure you guys have heard of it or seen it. And I don't know that guy's name, but he's really cool. And they do a lot of hunting, night hunting, in the Night Crew show. And they have, the wicked hunting lights, big light that the turret light that's on the back. And they all use, the head-mounted lights and everything. And they set up and make some really cool videos from the back of a really badass truck that's set up for this kind of hunting. Well, now in Oklahoma, since they released these laws, we can set up a truck like that. So one of these days, whenever I come to some cash, I'm going to get me an old four-wheel drive, hard body or something, and build a deck and put it in there and set me up some lights and have me a coyote killing station for the spring. But night hunting here, in Oklahoma, the coyotes are so thick. We're so close to Texas or so close to Kansas because I'm in northeast Oklahoma. We're on the east side of Oklahoma where there's less coyotes and more cats. West side of Oklahoma, I mean, if you're a good trapper, I know a guy over there named Ron. I hadn't met him face to face yet. We talked a handful of times. And he runs a nuisance business over there in West Oklahoma. And he had 100 dogs down in 1 month last year. Just coyote trapping, dirt trapping. And West Oklahoma's full of dogs. If you had feedlots like they do up in Kansas, a guy like him would catch 200 or 300 dogs a season easy. And in West Kansas, you got guys like what's his name? Jason Vance. I talk about Jason Vance a lot. That guy's a badass. If you guys don't watch his stuff, Advanced Predator Management, I think it is, you need to get on and check his stuff out. His Instagram's fire. His YouTube's really good. And he slays the dogs. I mean, he slays the dogs up there. He does Maine beaver trapping, early coyote trapping on Maine, and then he moves to Kansas. And this year he's trapping Kansas, Oklahoma, Texas, and I think New Mexico. He's going to hit all 4 of those states over there. So he's going far west, South Kansas, where he can get across the Oklahoma Panhandle into the Texas Panhandle, and then over in New Mexico. And his goal is to catch, I forget how many dogs, but it's hundreds of dogs. And he's going to try and catch a dog and a cat in all 4 states. That's badass. That would be a cool thing to do. I don't have the capability to travel like that to trap. I've got to trap locally. I got family. They're all young. I got young kids. And maybe when I'm older, maybe in my 50s, I'll start traveling to trap. We'll see. At this rate, I'll be 60 before my son's 21, so 22. So, and that I don't think he's going to be my last kid. He's just my 4th kid. I got more coming. That's for sure. But yeah, 50 to 100 dogs a night. That's crazy. They do coyote calling contests around here, Robert. They have, guys are killing hundreds of dogs around here a year. Some of the really good, hunters are killing 80 dogs a year, 100 dogs a year. The organizations, we got coyote, kind of like we have trapping organizations. They have coyote and predator calling organizations too. And I'm not a member of any of them, but there's one up in Osage County that I like a lot, and I watch some of their stuff. And I thought about making like a coyote trapping and predator calling organization for my county, and modeling it off of the way they do theirs up there in Osage County, because that's the biggest county in the country. You know, Osage County is one of the biggest counties on the planet, and I did the math on it one time. Every person on the planet could sit in their own square yard in Osage County. If there was a movie screen the size of Kansas, they could all sit in Osage County and watch the same movie. That's how few people are on this planet and how big that county is. Everybody tells you population is out of whack. I'm telling you, that's a lie. That's a lie. Population's out of whack in New York City because people are living in 30, 40-story buildings and projects, and they're all on top of one another, and they don't have enough resources because of the way things are there. It's not like that in the world. The state of Oklahoma alone, not just the county of Osage County, but the state of Oklahoma alone, every family on the planet can have their own 1,200 square foot house on their own acre of land in the state of Oklahoma. Every family on the planet. Maybe half acre, I forget what I got here. Ruger says, do you trap about everything? Yeah, I mean, I catch possums on accident every day. I catch possums all the time. I hate possums. But I like turkey. You know, I like to eat turkey whenever it's Thanksgiving. It's about the only time I eat turkey. Maybe sandwiches every once in a while, but we don't have turkey. I mean, parts of Oklahoma have a ton of turkey. Other parts of Oklahoma have a lot less. And where I'm at here, I've seen 2 turkey, 3 turkey, maybe heard 2 gobble in the last 2 years. So I knock down every single possum and coon I see. I accidentally let a coon go last year. I had a big old sow in a cage trap. And I didn't want to shoot her in the trap because I didn't want her blood. You know how a coon is. You dispatch a coon and they flop all over the place and bleed all over the place. And that was the first animal I caught in that trap. And I didn't want that to happen. So I opened the door up. I had my gun ready. Had my gun cocked. Safety off. Opened the door up. Kicked the back of the cage. And she ran out. And I fired a shot and missed her. I let her go. I've only let 1 coon go in the last 7 years. 2 coons. Well, I let 1 go in 2019, I think. That was on purpose, though. You know, I don't think so. Reciprocity, we're a reciprocity state when it comes to constitutional carry, but I don't think we're a reciprocity state when it comes to your trapping, licensing. Every person who comes here to trap has to get a non-resident trapping license. The thing is, though, with the non-resident, I don't think, I've heard stories, and I haven't seen the laws and regs that prove this yet, but I've heard that a non-resident trapper doesn't have a limit on bobcats. That only the residents do. That pisses me off. There's coyotes going off. Coyotes going off about a mile north of me. Yeah, nothing for turkeys, Ruger, I know. Yep. When I was a kid, man, you used to see a lot more turkey. In my 20s, mid-20s, whenever I was getting really back into hunting, there's a road highway I take all the way to my grandpa's old property in southeast Oklahoma, and he lived on ever since I was a little boy, and I spent all my summers down there, running through the woods with either a BB gun or a 22, just all day long gone in the woods. And there's a place called Payne, Oklahoma, and you drive through Payne, Oklahoma, and damn, there was turkey everywhere. I mean, one time I went through there on my way to go hunting down there, and I was down there for the weekend. I came back, and I swear I saw 500 turkey in this guy's yard whenever we went through. And he was probably on a 10-acre place. His house was a little bit off of the main road that's right there, the highway you drive through. There's a couple houses between the road and him. But as I pulled through, it just looked like a sea of turkey. It was incredible. But it's not like that now. The coons have gotten out of whack since the 80s. They really picked up in the late 90s and 2000s. And people barely run coons anymore. The dogs don't run coons anymore. They run coyotes instead. You don't see a lot of coon hounds. You don't see a lot of coon hound organizations. They're pretty much died out. Those old coon hound guys are gone. And I've heard stories about the coon hound organizations here in this county and how they were some badass dudes, but now they're not there. Nobody's hunting coons anymore. So I trap all the coons I can, but I don't set for them normally unless I'm setting cat traps, and I want to keep them out of the cat traps. I normally don't set DPs. I've only got 13 DPs, and one dozen of them are the Z traps, and I don't like the Z traps at all. I've never had good success with them. I lie. I did a nuisance job one time. I put 5 Z traps out. Came back the next day, had four coons in traps. But that was right. I was right in their spot, and they were just dumb. They just got caught. But the Duke DPs, I recommend those if you're getting into DPs at all. Anybody, the Duke DPs are great. They're cheap and they work real good. I got one Duke DP, and I'll set it next to my Z traps, and the Duke DP will have something in it every time. We have a lot more copperheads since we don't have turkey numbers. Yeah, I'm fortunate where I'm at. We got, Oklahoma's got a ton of venomous snakes, venomous spiders, but I've seen maybe 2 copperheads in the last year and a half, and I'm talking hard beaver trapping in the creeks. I don't see many copperheads. I see a lot of plain belly water snakes. I see a lot of rat snakes, but the biggest rattlesnake we've seen around here, somebody killed on the road last year, and the rancher sent me a picture of it. And it looked like it was about 5.5 foot long. It was a big fat sucker, and they just ran him over in the road and went and picked him up and took a video. And it was pretty good size. But I got 3 little kids running around everywhere, and I'm always telling them to watch out. Those places like got something that's been sitting there a long time, or got some built up grass or whatever. But we haven't seen any snakes yet. But a lot of folks around here have. Yep. Robert's talking about having flocks of turkeys that were 100 at one point, and now he's lucky to see 10 in a flock. I had 1 turkey when I was beaver trapping last year. Last summer, I beaver trapped on this ranch for almost 2.5 months, and I saw 1 turkey 3 days in a row, same turkey, in the same spot, and I watched her for those 3 days as I was going through my beaver job in the buggy, and I didn't see her after that. I've seen another turkey about 250, 300 yards from the house here not too long ago, about 6 months ago, but I couldn't hunt turkey around here if I tried. They're just not there. But south of us, Henrietta is about, I don't know however many miles away it is, about 30 minutes away. South of Henrietta, those guys are slaying the turkey in spring turkey season. I'm a flat set guy, Ruger. I don't like bait. I don't like possums. Bait is possums, coons, and coyotes. So I use coyote lure or some kind of gland lure or some kind of curiosity lure on coyotes 80% of the time. And I use flat sets a lot. Post sets, flat sets, post set is a flat set, just different variation. I love flat sets. That's my favorite. And if I set 4 sets in a location, 3 of them are flat sets. And if I set 2 sets in a location, probably both of them are a different variation of flat set. Either T-bone set, just a regular flat set, a post set, mouse hole, something like that. I make a set I call a double threat set, which is usually in a trail. And I actually just put up a video about it. A double threat set is it's just a flat set, but it's got a hole on either side of it, depending on which way the wind's going, where the holes are going to be, and which way the trail's going, how I set it up. And one of them's a gland lure of one animal, and the other one's a gland lure of a different animal. I like to make sets where I call it double threat because it's got 2 different gland lures in it, and I use 2 different urines. So if I do bobcat, I'll use bobcat urine on that one, and coyote on this one, and coyote urine. Or if I say we don't have many red fox. They're all in town around here, so you never see them out in the country where I live. Never see a red fox out here. You don't even see them on the road. Nothing. There's very few red fox, and that's because the coyote number's so bad. And I use red fox gland and red fox pea just as a change up on coyotes, and I have some wolf gland lures still from Andy Weiser, and I'm going to start using some otter gland. I've heard badger gland and otter gland are really, really good for coyotes. So I think I'll make threat sets, in the future that have otter gland on one side, a coyote gland on the other, and I'll just use like a bobcat pea or red fox pea on the other gland and just have coyote on coyote. I like those double threat sets. They pay off on me real good. Robert says copperhead rattlesnakes protected in Ohio. Dang, they were protected here, and they have a season here for hunting rattlesnakes. But there ain't nothing protected on these farm ponds. I mean, if you're on a farm pond and you're tearing up the fish, or you're killing, you're chasing the animals, you're at risk of biting cattle or something. They're killing it. They don't care what it is. These ranch ponds around here, otter are protected here. You can only have 5 otter a year, but I can trap them for nuisance. And during the year, you have a lot of people that want otter removed because they just destroy your crappie population. They kill all your crappie and your perch real quick. And if you've got bluegills or sunfish or perch or crappie in there, you'll find them all over the bank. You'll find their scales and piles of otter scat everywhere on the bank. And I've caught otter, not even 1, 2 around here. And there's a lot more otter around here than I thought, but it's nothing like, I don't know how Missouri population otter is, but I know that in Arkansas the population of otter is pretty huge. And I know a couple guys that come down to our events usually that are from Missouri, and they do really good on otter up there. So I'm pretty sure you got a large otter population up there. And they backed us off to only catch 5 a year here, tag 5 a year here, but they're open on nuisance, so I can take them on nuisance if I need to. If they're not protected. The only thing protected here when it comes to fur-bearing animals is a ringtail skunk. What else? I think there's one other animal that's a fur bearer that's protected here. It's ringtail and something else. I don't remember what it was. Tim says, me and my grandson have trapped our hunting lease for 4 years. We trapped for yotes, cats, and nest predators, and now just seeing the turkey and their offspring, better quality deer. Yep. And that's the thing is, if you got hogs do a huge number, man. They will destroy your turkey population. They'll run your deer off a lot of times. They'll tear up the fawn quick. So getting rid of your hogs is a big thing. And in Oklahoma, there's a ton of hogs. Right here, I'm lucky we don't have a lot. But the coyotes will eat your turkey, but it's mostly coons and possums eating your turkey eggs is what it is. And I say this all the time. I always make fun of people that are, let your possums go, be good to your possums because your possums eat ticks. No, possums eat turkeys, and turkeys eat 1,000 times more ticks a year than a possum does. So keep your turkeys, kill your possums, get rid of your ticks. That's the best way to do it. But I haven't seen an uptick. We've got quail here that are coming back, and that was happening before I started trapping around here. We might even have had a die-off when it came to coons at one point, but I only caught about 35 coons last year, and that's kind of a low number for Oklahoma, because I usually catch 40, 50 coons on accident. Ruger says, anything that doesn't have a season here in Missouri besides sparrow, pigeons is illegal to kill, but I am doing it anyways. Well, I mean, in Missouri, you guys are open up for coyotes, and you can have, you got unlimited number of cats, don't you, in Missouri? You don't have a limit on cats. But I guess you're within season, so you guys aren't allowed to do it outside of season, is what you're saying. Robert says, we're only allowed 1 where I'm at and 3 in other areas. Yeah, that tick shit did come from Pete, in my opinion. I agree. Robert, are you talking about snakes? You're only allowed 1 where you're at? Is that what you're talking about? Yeah, I'm not a fan of opossums. They're real thick in the cities. It's good money if you do nuisance work in cities. Possums, and because people hate possums. One time I chased a possum to a lady's house for 2 days. I had an old woman she was a sweet old lady, and her son called me, and he said, he thought his mom was seeing stuff because she's really up in years and she had a little bit of senility, and he thought his mom was seeing stuff. Otter. So Robert can only have 1 otter where he's at and 3 in other areas. Yeah, we can have 5 here. And anywhere in the state you can have 5 here, and I'm doing nuisance work. I caught more than 5 doing nuisance work every time I do beaver jobs for more than a month. There's otter everywhere. But I tell people all the time, otters, you don't run into otter on accident. And I did that once, but I knew there was otter around, but I wasn't expecting to catch one. Well, I did. That was during that job. I'd already caught 3 otter in other places, but you walk into a pond or a creek or wherever you're trapping at, and You know when the otter's there because there's big piles of scat and scales in it everywhere you go, and they're always right in the trails that everyone walks on. The biggest trails you can find, there's going to be otter right there next to water, and they're not bashful. You know, they leave toilets just about everywhere. They're not scared of anything with those big teeth. And I think I've caught two or three dryland otter in cat sets near the river or near ponds here on the ranch when I was doing cat trapping last year. See, Ruger, where? Tell me where you're at, Ruger. You said you're in Pennsylvania. Unlimited otter here, and move a lot. Y'all bet they do. They're being a good pond. Oh, you're in Missouri too? Who else is in Missouri? Oh, Livermore's in Pennsylvania. I get mixed up. I'm not going to remember where y'all are at all the time. I apologize. There's only 6 of you in here watching. 2 or 3 of you commenting, but I'm still not going to remember everything. They might be in a pond one night here and they move on quickly. Yeah, because they cleaned you out. Because they ate 60 of your crappie and bounced. I don't like otter very much, but they get some beautiful fur. I'd love to be able to have an unlimited number of otter, but then again, I can't imagine how many crappie we'd have to sacrifice to have, open up otter that unlimited number to otter on trappers. But I've seen guys that trap a lot of otter. I'd like to be able to harvest otter glands and use it for lure. I've heard a lot of good things about otter gland and how it's a super crazy curiosity lure for coyotes, and you catch a lot of coyotes on it. Huh. Channel cats. I've never seen a dead channel cat anywhere I've found otter. It's always crappie, but we have a lot of crappie. So we're blessed with crappie, but they're all tiny. And there's some great lakes in the state. There's some great waterways. You find some real beautiful big crappie. The records around here between 4 and 5 pounds. I think both of them, and they're old school records. But 90 times out of 100 that I've gone fishing for crappie, I catch small ones, not big ones. So, are you guys having any attacks on your trapping laws in your state? I think I got Ohio represented in here, I got Missouri represented in here, I got Pennsylvania represented in here, and probably some of the places. Are you guys having, what I'm trying to do is trying to start a live broadcast I'm going to do more often, a couple times, probably 4 times a month during trapping season, and probably 8 times a month without it. Where I can go over the laws, regulations, go over the modern trapping news, stuff that's coming out now, current events. And I said this a lot, but I'd like to kind of there's a website I like to go to, it's called Trappers Report. It's kind of like, if you've ever gone to the Drudge Report, it looks like the Drudge Report. But anybody can put a post up in there. So you can go in there and you can make your own post if you're a trapper, and I think they just approve it, and then it just posts right up the way you set it up. So you can put a video on there, and you can write an article, and then you can put, you can put the title in there, and you can put the link for the video or whatever, and you can post it, and it'll go up, and other trappers will see it. I really like Trappers Report, and I've been trying to search it for stuff, but it seems like people aren't uploading to it as much as I thought they might. I put up stuff 3 or 4 days ago, and it's still kind of at the top of the page. There's only been about 5 or 6 posts since then. So I'm kind of looking for something where we've got more updated, information. Hey man, is that Minnesota, Dusty? Joe Black. What's up, Joe? We're allowed 10 otter here in Western Kentucky. That's cool. So they're still keeping a tab on your numbers, and it's not so bad that they're unlimited. Yeah, see, trapping laws, that's how ours are too. We got, our wildlife biologist is badass. He's a good dude. I don't know if he was a trapper or not, but he comes to almost every trapping event that we have. He's pro trapping, and they've done real good with the fur bearer biology here in the state. I wish they would open up cats unlimited. I don't know why they haven't. We've got the numbers. I know, especially in my part of the state. Dusty's thing went away. It said message retracted. I don't know what that means. But you said yep. Tim Brady says, otter, beaver, bobcat, red fox, and gray fox, we have no limit. See, we have a limit on foxes in Oklahoma because of the low amount of red fox. But I think it's 6. I think the limit is 6. Maybe it's a dating limit. Coyote, striped skunk, groundhog, and raccoons open year round. See, striped skunk isn't open around here year round, but for nuisance work it is, and people shoot skunks all the time. That's one of the best, the best nuisance calls I can get is a skunk job, spring or fall. Groundhog. I've only caught one groundhog in my life. I've only caught one badger in my life. We don't have many badger here. West Oklahoma, apparently you have a lot, but here you don't have any badger at all. Joe Black's allowed 5 cats. And you're in western Kentucky. That's cool. At least you can get some cats over there. You go a couple states to the north or just a little northwest of you, and they don't allow any cats those places. Ruger says, FYI, you might get some moderators if you keep doing lives and keep getting bigger. Yeah, I'm going to, Ruger. I talked about this a little bit last time. What's up, hunting and stuff? How you doing, bud? We've been going on longer than I planned to, but I'm glad you're in. Ruger, I talked about this the other day, and I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to, I'm going to let the chats kind of develop a little bit. And, I've only got 7 people in here right now. We might have had 15, 18 people that saw that this was live. Once I got 25, 35, 50 people in a chat that are paying attention, I'm going to need somebody that, folks I can trust to make sure they kick the raf out. We're doing good tonight, hunting and stuff. I just kind of started a quick live chat. I was going to go live with the computer and go over a couple articles that I found on Trappers Report, some information I saw about the Vermont laws when it comes to trapping. And I was just going to touch up on that. I'm waiting on some of my other magazines to come in so I can find some material to go over with you guys. But my computer was getting really shoddy service once I turned all the equipment on. And then the second I turned all the equipment off and fired my phone up, now it's like my computer's had full service the whole time. My computer's sitting right here behind my phone. And the service gets shoddy. And I'd like to be able to show stuff, because I can post stuff on the screen and let you guys look at my, view my monitor or view my browser. And now I've got to figure it out where I can show you videos. So if there's some cool videos I see on Instagram or some cool videos I see on Trapper Man or something that I want to pass off, I can put it up here and let you guys watch it. And we can talk about it, which I think is good content. But I am just going live from the phone just out of boredom because I decided I wanted to go live tonight and my computer wasn't playing ball. And so I can't really show you any of that stuff. So I'm just I have to keep touching my phone every time you see the phone shake in order to look at because I put my phone down in landscape instead of the portrait or whatever it is. And because of that, I can't see the chat unless I touch the phone. Or as soon as something pops up, it shows it to me for a second, but it disappears. And I got to go back and hit it again. Don't be sorry, bud. I'm not sure what you're sorry about. No need to be sorry. You're good. Drinking and dreaming. I can use a drink tonight. I usually have a drink pretty late. Kind of wind down the back side of my neck, back. It's all tense all the time. They say women go through a period every month, at least the ones that aren't having babies. I've been on an hour and 24 minutes at this point. We got 7 in here now. It went up to like 7 or 8, then it went down to 3 or 4, then it went back up to 7. And I think only about 4 or 5 people are actually commenting. The other people are just watching. But we're just chatting it up. I'm just getting to know you folks a little bit. But yeah, I plan to go live and do more of that. I'm excited about it. I'm probably going to go live from the from the fall convention a couple of times. I might set up and do like an hour and a half live stream or something during the Saturday event when I got some free time. I think I'm gonna record 2. I'm gonna record 3 of the demos that we have on Friday. I'm gonna record both of Noah's. His is on first thing Friday morning, first thing Saturday morning, but they're Bobcat and Beaver put up is what he's gonna do. So I'm gonna record both of his. I'm gonna record Lynn Dunham's, and I'm going to record Galen opals. And I might, if I got enough battery, because we got space between 11 and 1, or between 12 and 1 at lunch, I might actually record Mike Yancey's too. And then I'm going to record Mitchell Simpson's and either Mark Connor or James Lord. I haven't figured out. And I'm going to try and get interviews with some of the trappers. I'm going to try and interview Trapper Adrian. He's a buddy of mine. I'm going to try and get to know him a little better. And I'm going to try and interview some of the guys that are there. And I might even interview some of the people that are coming in and out. And just do like a man on the street, asking them questions, asking them why they're interested in trapping. What got them involved, how they heard about us at the Oklahoma Fur Bearers Alliance, and just kind of see that kind of thing. Let me go up here in the chat. How long have you? Oh yeah, I've been on it for 30 minutes now. Tim Brady says y'all have a fall turkey hunt. Yeah, they do. They do fall turkey, and they do spring turkey here. So they do both. And I think fall is just shotguns and archery. Same thing. Spring is shotguns and archery. And I think it's a lot smaller time of the year during the fall than it is during the spring. They get more time in the spring. No, I'm not setting traps right now, hunting and stuff. I'm scouting the next 2 days, trying to collect some more property. Then we're doing 3 days where we're working with the fall rendezvous, and then I go back to work, and I'm off on Halloween and the day after Halloween, I think. So I'm setting Halloween, and hopefully I'll have my first coyotes bouncing November 1st. And probably coons too, and possums or whatever. But I'm going to have, I'm going to be targeting coyotes real heavy for all of November and half of December, and then I'm going to switch to targeting cats real heavy for a month and a half. And I've got to go to the U.S. Fish and Wildlife place over here at the refuge, and I got to talk to those guys and verify I can get in there in the month of February, because I'm planning on spending the month of February hammering beaver and cats inside the wildlife refuge. If they'll let me in, because they told me last year they'd let me do it. So I plan on doing it. That's the goal. So I'm going to trap here for 3 months and go there and trap for a month, and that'll be good. Ruger, I'll see you later, bud. Now, coyotes aren't primed up yet here. We're not cold enough. Mid-November they'll start picking up, and then they'll pick up mid-November, and they'll be good till last year. Like I said, I thought it was the 15th, it might have been the 14th of December last year. I caught my first coyote with shoulders, so it was a good looking coyote. And then after that, I started every coyote I caught with ripped shoulders. So I got good shoulders for about a month here, mid-November to mid-December. So I won't skin a lot of coyotes. They're not worth a whole lot. If I get decent coyotes, because I'm in East Oklahoma, so East Oklahoma coyotes are pretty bad. They're not as bad as Georgia coyotes or Texas coyotes, but they're pretty shitty. And West Oklahoma coyotes are a whole lot better. And I was trapping coyotes in West Oklahoma when coyotes were worth good money, and I was selling a lot of coyotes for $25 to $35 a piece. And that's a good price on good coyotes. If I can get $10 to $15, if I get $15 a coyote, every coyote I think is worth $15 on the skin. And every coyote that I don't think hits that number, I'm going to ditch. But I'm taking the glands, so they're not going to completely unused. I'm going to take the glands. We got a lot of pink bellies in Oklahoma, so guys up north, like I've been watching Adventures with James. I don't know if you guys watch his channel at all, but in the last few days he's put out 2 different check days that he has. I think he has 3-day check day law, 3-day check law. So he was talking about checking every few days or whatever. And I don't know, don't quote me on that. I don't know if that's true or not. But on his video, it made it seem like he checked everything, one day, and he was talking about 3 days later he's going to be checking again. So I thought it was 3-day check law. And I know South Dakota, places like that have a 3-day check. And he had some beautiful dogs with some beautiful white underbellies that were totally furred up. They're not fully primed up. He said there's a little bit more to come. But before October's over, they're going to be fully primed up where he's at. And for me, it's going to be mid-November. I might get lucky to get a few early good dogs in the early part of November that are worth it, but I'm just knocking them down to kind of make a name for myself around here and let the people know I'm here so I can build my business up, and because I'm a coyote killer. Last year I started trapping coyotes a little bit after mid-November, and I only skinned 12 coyotes last year. Out of 72 that I caught, I only skinned 12. And my early season coyote catch was bad. Where am I at here? Gotta get sleep. See you next time. All right, Dusty. Have a good night, bud. Hunting and stuff. Yeah, we have mange. Last year, my 18th coyote that I caught had mange, and I think I only caught 3 other ones that either had something wrong with them that mimicked mange, it looked like mange, or recovered from mange. So I don't catch a lot of mange coyotes on the east side of Oklahoma. When I was on the west side of Oklahoma trapping, I caught a lot of mange coyotes, probably like 1 out of 8 or 1 out of 10 had mange, but here it seems to be 1 out of 18. And my numbers, had I been trapping in West Oklahoma the way I trapped here last season, I'd have caught 150 coyotes out there. At least 100. There's more coyotes in West Side Oklahoma City than there are over here. But I'm not worried about knocking them all out. There's no way it's going to happen. Yeah, James, man. James has some great stuff. November 10th is when we in Ohio can start laying steel. That's cool. Since coyotes, beaver, and coons are open all year, I can lay steel any time of the year. But I have to be targeting those animals. So I could trap all through the summer just to do it if I wanted to. But I don't want to do that. If I do anything during the late spring and early summer, it's usually hunt coyotes that way. After they start mowing everything or before it starts growing. See, if you get early spring before everything starts growing back up, you can go out and call and get some really good coyotes come in. And I just like to post up with the electric call and knock them down. Yeah, James is great, man. His channel's cool. He had some really great sets, and he's caught. He said that, I think on the last video I saw he caught 5 coyotes last season, and in 2 check days he's already caught 4. So I don't know if maybe his coyote population's down that much because in Idaho they might have that big of a wolf problem. I don't know where he's at in Idaho, but he's doing good. And I don't know how long their season is either. He might not get to trap he might only get to trap for another month. I don't know. But generally, the further north you are, the earlier your season starts and the later it goes. And the further south you go, the smaller and smaller and smaller it gets. That's what I found out looking at trapping rates and stuff. Hunting and stuff, I'm in Oklahoma. I'm an Oklahoma boy. Yeah, I don't like mange. I hate mange. I heard that from Wayne Derrick, one of the greatest trappers men I know. He always says that. I hate mange. I hate mange. I don't like seeing mange on a coyote. I want to knock down enough coyotes and no coyotes have mange. That way the ones that are alive are healthy. Oh yeah, he was talking about having lions. You're talking about James, right? Adventures with James. He's in. What's up, brother? We were just talking about your last 2 checks. It's funny, you popped right in right now. Oh yeah. Yeah, so James, tell us about the lions you caught last year. Joe Black's telling us you caught some lions. Oh yeah. I was just telling them, you just got done skinning. What'd you get today? You don't have video out yet, so you had 4 coyotes and you had that 1 badger. What else you got? I was just telling the guys how you had those 2 check videos that I'd shared, and how the most recent one that you had out, you said that you had 4 coyotes so far, and that was almost as many coyotes as you caught last season. And I told them I didn't know how long your season was. So now that you're in here, tell us about the season you have on coyotes there and how long it lasts. Southern Idaho, you said. Yeah, I was telling them about how that coyote, one of the coyotes that you saw, you showed one of the females her belly, and one of the other ones you showed their belly, and they had a white underbelly that was real thick, and how we have a lot of pink belly coyotes here. So you'll catch a coyote here, but a lot of coyotes you don't want to skin because you look at that pink belly and you know it's worthless. Two lines in the same day and you had to let them go. Damn, were you alone when you did that? That would be crazy. See, I've let cats go. I have to let cats go every year for a little while, but I don't plan on letting a lion go. Around here, you catch a lion around here, and it's pretty much I mean, I don't know. I'll call ODWC and let them come let it go. Otherwise, I'm taking it, and they're gonna come get the tooth. I just had I used to trap west side Oklahoma City. I said that, and there's a guy there. Nice guy that I know. He let me trap on his parents' land right there on the North Canadian River that goes into Stitchcomb Wildlife Refuge. They had this really great spot. And that's really where I learned to trap cats, was on that property. And he had this really great sandy spot on the south side of the bank of the Canadian. And they've been having lions that are up in there that are killing cattle and killing some of the alpacas. And he called me yesterday trying to see if he could hire me for a job to catch a lion. And I had to tell him the laws and the rules and tell him what happened in Oklahoma. And, you know, there's hearsay in the state that the lions that are here were actually brought in by the wildlife department many years ago to curb the deer population, and that it's kind of gotten out of control. Now, I don't know if that's true or not. I've heard that. It's hearsay, but I told him that I'd heard that, and I told him where I'd heard it because he knows the guy that I heard it from, and he might be able to ask him about it. But he asked me to do a lion job, and I told him, I said, I can't set for lions, I can't catch a lion. The only way you can kill a lion is if it's in the act of depredation, and you got to make sure you call ODWC ahead of time, let them know what's going on, and then if it happens, then call them again and tell them, you know, what's going on. But they always tell. Every time ODWC comes out, and they're like, yeah, that's not a lion. That wasn't a lion that did that. Makes you kind of wonder. Two lions the same day. That's crazy. So James up there where he's at in southern Idaho, he's got prime coyotes. That's good. Yeah, mountain lion out of a trap. That's a good question. I saw a video. He said help and a piece of wood. That's funny. Andy Weiser. I don't know if you guys, most of you guys that trap been around a while, you should know who Andy Weiser is. Andy Weiser is one of the baddest trappers on the planet. Great dude. And Andy makes some of the best trapping bags on the planet, and he's got some of the best lures. He doesn't make them anymore, but I hear someone's making them for him. But Andy had some of the best lures on the planet. They slay dogs down here, Andy's lures. And Andy has a video called Western Bobcat Trapping. And in that video, he has to release a bear and a mountain lion. And I think it was a 3-man team on both. They had a 3-man team on both releases. It was pretty wild. And somebody holding the camera, and someone holding a gun. Maybe it was a 5-man team. He says today, and James said today I got another badger and a coyote. That video is going to probably go up Friday or Saturday. I release my videos every 3 days. That's awesome. Badgers, man. We don't have a whole lot of badgers here. I've only caught one. And last year, actually, I had it in the freezer and was going to put it up for taxi. And actually sold it to a taxidermist last year because they needed a badger for a job. So I sold it. It was my first one, but they're not very plentiful here. In West Oklahoma, people complain about them, but over here in East Oklahoma, not too many people deal with them. But they do exist, but they're very far few between. So yeah, that puts you at two badgers and 5 dogs, James? That's pretty good. Yeah, that's what's happened. This guy, he called. And he's got alpacas, and then the guys next to him, some of the guys next to him have cattle, and there's cattle on both sides of the river there at different places. And I've trapped both sides of the river on one of the ranches and the other farms. And that was, like I said, that was in the past. That was a few years back. But he called me yesterday. He thought I was going to come out and they were going to pay me to do a lion job. I was like, no, I don't think I can pull that off. And I don't, I've got beaver traps, so I got traps I could use on a lion if I wanted to. But there's, I'd get in trouble. I'd lose my license. Yeah, you're going to get your badgers tan. Who are you using for tanning, James? You got somebody close, you do it yourself? Dang, lions in a Duke 650. You know what? That's probably perfect. How was the catch on that lion in a Duke 650? You caught them both the same day. Was it full pad catch? Was it partial pad catch? How'd that go? Yeah, badger fur is cool. The one I caught was really prime too. He's a good badger. Moyles. Wow, 30 miles from the house. Holy crap. I just saw, what was it? Something Creek. Sleepy Creek or something. I don't know, I forgot. I got their new tannery prices. And, you know, if you're doing 30 or 40 animals, it's not very expensive. But then the more animals you do, the more money you got to pay. So I've never tanned an animal. I've got the only gray fox I ever caught is in my freezer, and the only 2 mink I ever caught are in my freezer, and then that badger, and I was going to have them all tanned, but I've got my first daughter's in the freezer too, and I was going to have it tanned. It's still not. Full pad on both. Oh, you got one in a Duke 550 too. So I bought Duke 650s in 2020, but I didn't get to trap for 2 seasons. So last year I used 650s for the first time. And they're big and badass for coyotes. They really are good. They're too big for cats. Way too big. Maybe not lions, obviously, but for cats are way too big. I got 5 dozen MB 550s, and I've yet to buy the Duke 550s, and I'm going to get some at some point. And if I get the chance to have some extra money next year, I'll probably do it. This year I'm tapped out with the baby and the job I got. So I'm just buying a few lures. My product placements on my shows next season are going to be pretty weak. Just FYI for you folks watching, because I'm not going to go over the same products twice on the second season. And I've got maybe 3 different lures that I bought earlier this spring that are lures I've never used before. One of them's they're all cat lures, by the way. That Catatonic, I forget who makes it. Then the other one is John Graham's. Cat Bob Catler, or Badlands Bob, I think it's called. I'm gonna use that. I'm gonna do some of that. But when it comes to like actual products, I'm kind of tapped out. I had a hard time coming up with product placement for 15 episodes as it is. I'm an economy trapper, and I got some nice stuff, but I don't have a whole lot of products. Tim, I'll see you next time, bud. Thanks for stopping in. I appreciate it. Yeah, the only furs I have are they're not even tanned. Hopefully they're still good. I've never had anything tanned. I thought to do it myself a time or two, but it didn't work out. But lures is what I'm going to start working on. This year, this spring, instead of getting lazy like I have in the past, this last spring, I trapped so hard that whenever I got done in the spring, done with the fur sales, and I had 2 or 3 jobs back to back right after, and I got lazy. It got wet. I got lazy, and I didn't even mess with the glands that I collected. So I have all kinds of glands that I collected over the last season, and I've kept all my beaver stuff, all my beaver caster for 6 years, 7 years. Yep, 4 coil linears. I got 2 coil on my MBs. I recently saw somebody put out a who was it? I don't remember the guy's name, but one of the YouTubers, one of the trapper YouTubers, put out a video a while back of a 4-coil spring lever version of the K9 Extremes, and man, that looked badass. I like that. I want to try the K9 Extremes. I like Kendall a lot. I love his beaver traps. I love the fact that he's the guy that's now making the Death Ray. Lee Steinmeier's a great dude and a good brother is what he is. Lee's a great guy. And Kendall, if he chose Kendall to make his stuff, that means Kendall's a great dude too. I've met Kendall twice, I think, and I've talked with him a time or two over the phone or email, and he's sold me some traps. And I always buy my chain stakes from Kendall. I use we have really thick clay style dirt here, and I use just regular super stakes on chains, and sometimes you don't even have to go in 6-8 inches. There's not a coyote on the planet can pull those things out after they're in 10 inches in Oklahoma ground. Doesn't matter what it is. You could probably use pogos here, but most of your pogos are probably thin. Yeah, otters. I'm still hanging on to mine. I sold one. I caught 6 otters last year, but only one of them was during fur season, and the rest of them were all nuisance otters. So I only skinned the one, and really the first one I caught was like November 28th last year, and the fur on that otter was beautiful. It was way better than the fur I caught on the otter in late February. But I still sold that otter. I think I got 28 bucks out of it, 24 bucks. Wasn't bad. The Oklahoma fur sale did real good this spring. I went up to Kansas to sell my cats, and after I did the Oklahoma fur sale, I wish I'd have kept my cats down here. And that's not knocking Kansas. Those guys are great. I got good buddies up there. But the buyers up there were just not buying the same way the buyers were buying down here. And we did real good. Actually, coyotes that IPO'd or I rejected sale that went through the line in Kansas, guys wouldn't even buy them. I brought them down here and sold them for $12 a coyote. And coyotes I sold there for $3, $4, $5. If I'd have just kept them all, if I'd have just sold all my stuff here, I'd have done better. So the only thing you have a limit on is otters. And you get 3 a season, everything else is unlimited. Yeah, we can have 5 otters here. And cats we got a 20 bag limit on cats, which is stupid because every state bordering us has no limit on cats. And of course, we can't take lions. Lions are totally protected here because ODWC wants to act like they don't exist. And I'm not knocking ODWC. There's a lot of good guys that work for those folks that I like a lot. But there's lions here. Nobody knows it. They saw a lion. There was a lion sighting just a mile and a half away from the house 3 weeks ago. So we got lions, and I'm sure I'm going to catch one at some point around here. It just hadn't happened yet. Here, the reason the otters aren't as plentiful as the beaver are. That's why here. I'm sure it's the same thing up there in Idaho too. Otter are one of those animals that the lefties like to personify and turn into a cute little animal that they love. But they don't realize all the fish those damn things destroy. Yeah, that's excellent. We don't have that kind of western coyote here where we can do that now. I probably did a $35 average on coyotes 2017, 2018 here, which you guys were probably doing 80 or better. $350 on the 2 cats. That's great. I sell cats for taxi. Any big cat I catch, I've got a buyer, maybe 2, and he knows people that he sells to, and I can send him pictures, send him measurements, and if he's interested, he'll send me a check, and I get pretty good money for cats. But I averaged $96, $97 on my cats last year. I sold in Kansas. Yep. Well, I'm running out of shit to say, guys. As you can tell, I'm long-winded. I can talk a lot. But there's 5 of us in here. Thank James for coming in, hunting stuff, for y'all blowing up my chat. I appreciate it. It helps a lot. A lot of the other guys that were in here earlier already left. I think Joe might still be in here. Dusty had to bounce. Tim had to bounce. Is Tim here? Tim might still be here. Ruger had to bounce. Anyway. Yeah. Absolutely, James. Your stuff was gold the other day. I watched your episode and I couldn't turn away. It's pretty cool. So you guys have a good night. I appreciate y'all jumping on the chat. James, in the future, we're going to do other types of chats. And if you want to get in, man, we can do, they have a thing now on YouTube where I can bring other people in. And we can have like 2 people chatting and, you know, bouncing ideas and stories off one another. So if you guys are interested in that, give me a holler. I got another video dropping tomorrow. The 14th episode of my show just dropped tonight. And number 15, the last episode of the season, drops this coming Thursday. So, James, I'll see you later. Hunting and stuff, I'll see you later. Everybody else in the chat, I haven't seen you chat in a minute, but you guys have a good night. I appreciate y'all watching. And until next time, Dominion out.